What's good, YouTube? It's Rico here, and I've got a deck profile for Trickstar Sky Striker. This is going to be a double, report-ish, because there's two events that I've used this deck at that I kind of want to talk about. I've been playing it since after YCS Secaucus, when I was there playing Spiral, and this deck just, completely dominated that entire event. I had already picked up the Sky Striker engine earlier that day, and then I re-picked up the Trickstar engine because I had sold it the day before. But yeah, anyway, so I've been playing it since then at locals and stuff. I took it to the North American World Championship qualifier. I did not make it to day 2. I made it to round 7 and then dropped at a record of X3. I had a really killer headache, and I knew I was not going to. My chances of top 8 or making day 2 at that point were slim to none. So I just didn't want to play anymore, and I told myself I'd go until X3, and that got me to round 7, which is about the same, if not exactly the same, as I got the year before when I was playing Pure Zoo. So overall, I was pretty okay with the experience. After that, I took this deck again to a UDS qualifier that my locals was having yesterday. I was originally not going to play it because I wanted to play something else. I was considering playing Burning Abyss or Spiral Sky Striker. I figured that both of those decks actually have an insane amount of depth, and I was not familiar with them. Spiral in particular, I was not familiar with how the Sky Strikers meshed into the combos, so I decided to play what I knew, and I played Trickstar Sky Striker. I got top 8 at the event after 5 rounds. I lost round 3 to the Mirror, but I beat ABC, Lair of Darkness, my friend was playing Pure Sky Striker and one other deck that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But anyway, so yeah, and then in top 8 I played against Burning Abyss, funnily enough. It was a friend of mine who was returning to the game, and it went to time. I destroyed him game 1 because I just opened absolutely broken. I ended with 9 cards in my hand at the end of all my combos, and then Game 2 went back and forth, and I almost pulled it back, but he just ripped BLS off the top and killed me for the rest of my life. And then Game 3, we were 2 minutes left in the round, so I just made a play as quickly as possible, set Reincarnation Pass, and activated it in draw phase. And I had Lycros on board, so my opponent burned for 12. But here, my friend who was judging messed up. He misread the rules and thought that in top cut, turns still happened, and it didn't just immediately end the phase. That's what happens if life points are tied. He later apologized to me for that because I should have won the game, but I don't blame him. It was also my fault for not double checking, because I thought that didn't sound right, but I didn't bother to double check. So that's on me, but I could have gone further, but I lost in top 8, so it's whatever. So yeah, let's get into the deck profile. There's very slight differences between this and what I played at NAS. This is how I played it at the UDS. The differences are extremely minor, so I'll just go over them as I get there. So for monster account, this is the most absolute standard monster lineup you could possibly get for Trick Striker. Let me move these out of the way. It's 3 Candina, 3 Lycros. I love this card way too much to play less than 3 of it. I guess if I was playing the Magnite engine, I could understand cutting her to 2, but without the Magnites, if you're just playing Trickstars and Sky Strikers, I would definitely play 3 of her. Even hard drawing her, if you don't get away to Candina, she's not bad. Lilybell, it's the only card I don't ever want to banish. And then hand traps, I play 3 Ash and 3 Droll. I don't think you need to main any other ones. So what I'm about to say next is probably going to cause every person who watches this video to facepalm, but I did not play Droll and Lockbird at Nats. Yes, I know that sounds absolutely idiotic. My reasoning for why I didn't play Droll was because Droll is honestly one of my least favorite hand traps, because it is always a -1. Because it does not actually negate or stop any play that it's responding to. It just stops your opponent from doing anything else, so it's a stall card. And I felt like in past experience with Droll, I only liked it in decks where my opponent not having that turn to do anything made the difference between me killing them or not, like straight up OTKing them, which is why I like Droll in Spiral. I think it works great, because if my opponent doesn't have that turn to make a board, there's a very good chance I'm just going to OTK them, which happened a lot at Secaucus. But Trickster puts a lot of damage on the board, but it's like, for me to like straight up OTK you, I have to open like the most broken hand ever, which is like not unheard of, because Trickster has what I call like the best bayonetta factor, where if anybody's familiar with Smash 4, I could be like a million like behind in card advantage, and then I could just draw one thing and just pop off and kill you out of nowhere. So it's entirely possible, but I felt like it didn't happen enough for me to like it, and in testing, a lot of the times Droll just felt like it sucked, and the only time I wanted it was for the Droll reincarnation, like double reincarnation loop, and I felt like the Droll single reincarnation play, good players were going to play around. So, in the double reincarnation play, it's like less than 12% chance of you actually opening it, and then it banks on your opponent not having Ash or not having Called by the Grave to answer the Droll or the reincarnation. And I felt like those were too low, and that was the only reason I felt like I was playing it, so I decided to just cut it. And I still don't think I've ever actually double reincarnation looped someone. But during the main event at Nats, I lost to Goki and World Chalice, and that's when I realized that, like, if I had realized that Goki in particular was going to be as popular as it was, like, I knew it was going to be popular, I didn't think it was going to be, like, tied with Trickster for, like, how dominant it was, and that's, like, just bad hindsight, or that's bad foresight on my part. Yeah. If I had known that, I probably would have played Droll, because Droll is amazing against that deck, which is why I put it back in after the event. Definitely Droll, not playing Droll at all was a mistake, and I realized that, so I put it back in. Yeah. And then, so yeah, that's all the monsters. For spells, it's 2 Called by the Grave. I sided the third one just because I was already at 42 with this list, and I just had to cut something, so I just cut the third Called, and I moved it to the side. 3 Desires. I swear by 3 of this card. I think it was Pat Hoban shortly after Nats, or like it was in his Nats deck profile, like the last time he played in a Nats, which was Zudraco, where he said that even if you Desires and draw into another Desires, it's not actually like any loss in card advantage, because Desires is one card that replaces itself with 2 cards, and if one of those is a Desires, then you essentially broke even, because you got 1 blank and 1 card that actually does something. I swear by that. I never intend to actually play more than 1 Desires, but it's just like, it's something I want to see early, because it's like, it's pretty much Pot of Greed. The only card you absolutely don't want to banish is Lilybell, and it doesn't happen enough for it to matter. And like, the only way this card is like truly like horrible is if you have like the worst luck banishing, which happened to me a couple times, or if you draw into double Desires, which is like, I'm pretty sure less than 1% of the chance. Naturally, it happened to me during the event. So, yeah. Fun fact, and, oh, I remember the other round I won, at the UDS. I was playing against, this one guy at my locals. He was playing ABC, and we got randomly deck checked, and we got a double game loss, because he had cards in his deck box that were not part of his deck, which is an auto game loss, and then I accidentally wrote 1 Infinite Impermanence on my side deck instead of 2, so I had to take that out, and that was a double game loss. So we started in game 3, and like the whole time he was complaining about how bad his hand was. I opened triple Desires and like a Hornet Drones and 1 other card, and like the only reason I was able to play is because Desires drew me into Candina. So like, it's the triple Desires, but this deck just is absurd enough to play with that. So yeah, and then 3 Scapegoat. This is the best card in the game right now. You will not be able to convince me otherwise. I have actually legitimately seen people on Pojo debate that this card is fair, and I really question how good they are, because the only time I have flipped this card and lost was when I was playing the Mirror, or if it got like board wiped or like Rivalry or Gozend. This card is absolutely absurd, and if you flip this and your opponent doesn't have some way to disrupt it, you have no business losing that game. This card, in my opinion, straight up needs to be banned. And then for the Sky Strikers, it's like pretty basic. 3 Engage. This card is probably the second best card in the deck. 3 Hornet Drones. And then Afterburners, Jamming Wave, and Widow Anchor. I do like playing one of all of these. I think they all come up in a situation so I don't think I would want to miss any of them. Widow Anchor is great just for like stealing shit to make a link player just to push for game is really, really good. But yeah, I definitely like that ratio. And then the last spells are 3 Light Stage and 3 Terraforming. Light Stage is a really, really good field spell, honestly. And then for traps, I played 3 Reincarnations and 3 Mind Crush. Mind Crush, on paper, was really good because it's really, really strong against the mirror, and it has applications against most other matchups. In practice, like during the main event and during the UDS, it wasn't as great as I was hoping it would be, but I think it's because I did not hit a lot of mirrors. Because this card Savage's mirror. But Goki, I feel like, doesn't really care that much because you rip one Goki out of their hand, they play with the 5 others they got. Pure, it kind of hurts if you hit it at the right time, but it has to be like the right moment, and sometimes that just doesn't come up. So like the only common matchup where I really, really like Mind Crush is the mirror. So moving forward, I might push this to the side, but I think it was a smart call to main it. It just didn't pan out the way I wanted to. Like in testing, Mind Crush was amazing whenever I played it. And at Nats, I played the mirror against Robbie Stargle, and I saw that he was also playing Mind Crush. And after the match, I asked him how it was doing from the whole day, and he said it was amazing. So maybe it was just like rotten luck on my part. But yeah. And that's the main deck. It's 42. I played 40 during Nats. Instead of playing the 3 draw, I just played 1 upstart. And then for extra deck, 2 Gagari, 1 Shizuku. I've never found myself needing more than this. Borload, Firewall. So during the UDS, I played Topologic Bomber Dragon. During Nats, I played Saryuja. Neither of these really came up. Saryuja was just like sometimes I need to like draw, but it very rarely happens where I actually want to make Saryuja. But at the same time, Topologic, when I played the mirror and when I saw some games going on stream, I saw Topologic was actually making a rather large impact, so I decided to just switch this instead for Saryuja. Like I think these are pretty interchangeable. It just depends on what you're going for. Trizbana, this card is really good in time, really good for blowing out back row and stuff like that. Unicorn, Cerberus, Goblin, Phoenix. I think at least one of all these is good. The only one I'd probably consider playing 2 of is Phoenix. Space Insulator, this is the only card in the entire deck that's not foil, and it pisses me off, but this card is so good because just being a generic Link 2 is actually amazing. Holly Angel comes up every once in a while and is very useful, especially if you have the means of like just summoning a bunch of Trickstar monsters and then she just burns and then you can punch over shit. And then for Scapegoat, it's Link Rebo and Link Spider. So yeah, I don't really think there's anything I would change in the extra deck. The only thing is like maybe switching Topologic or Saryuja. And then side deck. 3 Sphere Mode. I boarded this against Goki and World Chalice and did not see it. In my top 8 match of the UDS, I boarded this against Burning Abyss because it was either this or keeping Droll in the main, and Droll is terrible against Burning Abyss. So I said, well, I'll just play Sphere Mode because it'll either be dead or he's going to overextend and leave 3 monsters. And he did just that. He left Beatrice, Malicious, and Dante on board. And he didn't link them into anything, so I drew. It was Sphere Mode. I said, I fucking guessed, and I dropped it, and that almost won me the game, but then he ripped another BLS after a couple turns. But that was probably the most hilarious time I've ever dropped Sphere Mode. That actually might be the only time I've dropped Sphere Mode against Burning Abyss. But yeah, you need to play it just because Goki exists. Called by the Grave. 3 Shared Ride, 2 of these for the mirror going first, and then all 3 of them for playing against Pure Sky Striker. If I don't main Mind Crush, I would probably side it, at which point I might cut one of these. These are 2 of the things I would cut out of the side for Mind Crush, and then I would just put the 3rd Called by the Grave back in the main. And then 3 Twin Twisters just for Rogue and back row and shit, and like True Draco. Same thing with Evenly Matched, and then Infinite Impermanence. So yeah, I don't have 3 impermanents. I didn't have room for 3 impermanents, so I just played 2. But yeah, if I were to put Mind Crush from the main to the side, I would probably cut these and like one of the Sphere Modes and just play Mind Crush. But yeah, and that's the entire deck. I really like it. It's a pretty fun deck. It's super degenerate, but it is fun to play. it's also, like, I don't think it's super difficult to play. Like, sometimes you just draw really well, and you just go off. But overall, I do think it's a very good deck. I'll probably play it at least a little bit until next ban list, where I'm fully expecting it to get destroyed. But I'm also probably going to play Burning Abyss at another UDS this Wednesday. A friend of mine wants to borrow my Sky Striker card, so that's just more reason for me to play Burning Abyss. But yeah, that's all for this video. Before anything, huge shoutouts to my friend Emmanuel, or Manny Hayes, for getting top 32 with Paleozoic. That video is on my channel. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Response to it has been rather polarizing, because it's a little unorthodox, but he got top 32 and nobody else did with Paleo. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.